favorite places that archaeologists go when they're on a dig is to the town dump, because it gives them a picture of how people lived long, long ago. And I was wondering, what would it be like for the archaeologists maybe 1,000 years from now who are going through our landfills? And I was thinking they'll still find some things totally intact, because some of them take thousands of years to break down. And I was thinking also of ourselves. And I was thinking, how come we are creating these enormous landfills? I mean, have you seen them? Have you seen any of them? Most of them are kind of tucked away out of town, someplace where you don't see them. I happened to be driving on a back road one day, and I was driving along, and I thought, up ahead looked like almost a mountain, and I thought, wonder, this is unusual for this terrain. And as I got closer, I saw that there were these little tiny tractors driving up this big hill, and it was a landfill. They were actually making a mountain out of our trash. And as I thought of that, I thought, well, and now how does that happen? You know, everything begins in thought, doesn't it? Everything begins in our mind. And I was thinking, do we have a monster from the landfill in our minds? And that was an interesting thought. And I thought, well, how would that look? And I thought, well, you know, all of the things that we don't like about ourselves, we often put away. And we call where we put it the shadow, so that we are not aware of it. We don't even know it's there, much like the landfills that we have. You know, we don't see these landfills. I don't know where ours is. I'm sure there's one for the city, but I'm not sure where it is. And I thought, you know, it's much the same way with us. But it's also very important that we remember that whatever is manifesting in the world came as a result of our thought and our feelings. And so there's a correlation between our own landfill and the landfill that our cities have. I found that what I believe is the problem is in the very beginning in Genesis, when God gave us dominion over the earth. Now, that's an interesting thing to me, because we kind of misunderstood that word dominion, and we thought we could do anything with it we wanted. And as we became separate from our spirit, from the Spirit of God, we began to go unconscious when it came to the way we were treating our earth. And so it's time for us to wake up in more ways than one. We've been talking about this for weeks, of waking up, becoming aware, being able to do something different in our lives, and making that reconnection with Spirit that we all desire so greatly. When we started naming things, that was the beginning of the separation. And so there's no real separation. The separation is only in our minds. It's not real. We just think it's real. It's, you know, one of those things that I thought about was, I put my garbage in the garbage containers, and I take it to the street, and it disappears. And I bring the container back, and I fill it up again, and I don't know where it goes, and I don't know what's done with it. And I was thinking, there's a piece of separation that we just don't think about. You know, we're just glad they pick up the garbage. But we don't really think about how much we are producing. And I have found that as I begin to be more conscious and aware, I don't produce quite as much garbage as I used to. In fact, I only have to take my cans out about every 2 to 3 weeks because I don't have that much, so I just sort of let it accumulate. I'm sure the garbage people love that. But I have found that that is the case, for me anyway. And, you know, that shadow in us, that shadow part of us, is something that we want to begin to do our own archaeological dig. We need to go within and begin to notice what those things are that we have put in our shadow. What are those things that we are now projecting out into the world that we need to own ourselves and become more whole and complete? Because when we have things that we are not aware of, we are not whole and complete. You know, we can clean up our monster. We can do that. And if we just clean him up a little bit, you'll find that the monster within is not as bad after all as we thought. And that monster has lots of energy. And it only needs to be directed in a positive way. So the fact that we are manifesting these landfills tells us something about our collective consciousness. And we can change that one person at a time. So be aware of your thinking. Be aware of that. Be aware of your thoughts and habits and the things that you want to change in your life. And don't be afraid to look at them. They're really not as bad as they seem. And they carry lots of energy for you. Spend time in nature. It is a wonderful time to be outside. Wasn't Friday gorgeous? Oh, I was outside all day Friday. I could not stay in. I just couldn't do it. I stayed out all day because I knew that the weather was going to change. And so someone last summer said to me, Barbara, you probably would do you good if you got grounded and you laid down out in the yard next to the earth. And at the time I thought, well, I don't think that that's going to happen. For some reason it just struck me as funny. Well, that was last summer, I took the recycling out and put it in my recycle bin, and on the way back I thought, gosh, it's beautiful today. The grass is so green and it's so pretty. And I thought, you know what? I think she was right. I think I do need to, I took my shoes off and I walked a little bit, and oh my goodness, the earth felt so cool and so nice. And so I thought, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to lie down in the yard. And so I did. And then I thought, I wonder what the neighbors will think. I thought I better move around a little bit. I don't want them calling 911. So I'm laying in the yard and I'm just enjoying it, and I feel the grass, and it's just, I feel the warmth of the sun, and it was such a wonderful thing. So I suggest that if you have a yard and you don't have chemicals all over it, that you go outside and you walk barefoot a little bit and you lie down, because it is a glorious feeling. It truly is. Now, I haven't done it yet this year. It's not been warm enough, but I think I'll do it again this year. I think grounding with the earth and feeling that oneness with the earth is really a beautiful thing. Another thing I would suggest is that you either plant a small garden or do some plants in pots, either flowers or vegetables, whatever. It's wonderful exercise. It is really wonderful for your soul. And it is just a thing that being in nature is something that we don't do enough. You know, we have the beautiful metro parks. We have this great big lake out here. And how many of us really get out and enjoy those things? And I think the more that we connect with nature, the more we are going to feel that love of nature and the love of this earth, and we will begin to take better care of it as we become more and more aware. You know, be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of how you're disposing of different things. The fact that we are manifesting these landfills says that we just haven't been aware. We're always going to have them. We always will. But they do not have to be quite as massive as they are turning out to be. Spend some time in meditation. Meditation and prayer are going to help you reestablish that connection with your Creator by using I am statements in a positive way to get back into the groove. I'd like for you to see a beautiful DVD that I discovered in my bookcase I didn't know I had last week, and a week before last. And just take a moment just to watch this. It's really quite beautiful. And if you'll take care of the lights when you get that going.